Good morning. I thank you for tuning in this morning and as we look into the life of Jesus. We go into this devotion this morning and with just a blessed heart. You know, we look around at the things that's going on in the world, and I'm just thankful today that I know that I've been saved. I know I have a Savior that's greater than all these things. Today we're going to talk about a couple events here that happened in Jesus' life, where he healed a man's daughter and he healed a woman with the issue of blood. This story is one of my go-to scriptures to when I'm talking about salvation, talking about the power of Jesus, talking about what it takes for us to be able to allow Jesus to do his work in us. So we're going to get into this lesson this morning. I appreciate it. Again, I appreciate you listening and praying for us today. And our reading lesson today is going to be in Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8, verses 40 through 56, which concludes that this part of the chapter. It says, "And it came to pass that when Jesus was returned, the people gladly received him, for they were all waiting for him." Now this was after that Jesus had went and healed the man with a lot of demons, the Legion. And Legion was a man that was that could not be controlled, that was possessed, that was out of his mind, that people thought he was crazy, and he was living in the tombs, he was living naked, and here Jesus came before him and healed him and freed him of those demons. And the demons went into the swine ran into the ocean and drowned. And the people had saw this happen, and it scared them. But Jesus left, and the man that Jesus healed went into the city. He went into the city, and he lived a different life. He lived the example that Jesus wanted him to live, and the people came back and received him gladly. And it says, "And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue. And he fell at Jesus' feet and besought him that he would come to his house. For he had only one daughter, about 12 years of age, and she lay dying. But as he went, the people thronged him. And a woman with the issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all of her life living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came behind him, touched the border of his garment, and immediately her blood staunched. And Jesus said, Who touched me? And when all denied, Peter and they which were with him said, Master, the multitude throng thee and press thee. And sayest thou, Who touched me? And Jesus said, Somebody hath touched me, and I perceive that virtue has gone out of me. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and fell down before him and declared unto him and before all that the people for what cause she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. And she said unto her, Daughter, be of good comfort, for thy faith has made thee whole. Go in peace. While yet ye spake, there cometh one while he yet spake, there cometh one from the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying to him, Thy daughter is dead. Trouble not the master. But when Jesus heard it, he answered, saying, Fear not, believe only, and she shall be made whole. And when he came into his house, he suffered no man to go in, but save Peter and James and John, and the father of the mother of the maiden. And all wept and bewailed her. But he said, Weep not, for she is not dead, she sleepeth. And they laughed him in scorn, knowing that she was dead. And he put them out, and took her by the hand, and called, saying, Maid, arise. And her spirit came, and she arose straightway. And he commanded her to give meat, and her parents were astonished. But he charged them that they should not tell no man what was done. Again, I apologize for the reading of mistakes in my reading. That's reading Luke chapter 8, verses 40 through 56. And as we go into this story here, I want you to get this picture, right, of what's going on. As I described that Jesus had come back into the city after he had healed that man with many demons, being possessed with many demons, and his example, the man's example of how Jesus had healed him, had touched many people in that city, and they were gladly to receive him. And there was others that had issues there. This man had a daughter that was 12 years old that was dying, and he went to find this man named Jesus. Now, he was a ruler of the synagogue, so for him to go and find Jesus and to bow down at his feet, that was something. That was saying something. That was saying that, he didn't care what the people of the synagogue thought, that he didn't care about his reputation. He cared about his daughter. He cared about his daughter, and he wanted his daughter to be healed. But as he bowed down there, it gives us a picture of all these people that gladly received Jesus, that gladly wanted him to come back into the city, and there was a lot of people around him. There was a lot of people that were just trying to hear what he was saying, trying to get close to him. But there was this one woman, the woman with the issue of blood. For 12 years, this woman had sought relief from her issue. Here we go again. The world's limitation. Legion, the man that was possessed with many demons. The city had and the people in the city had tried to do all these things to heal him or to control him, and nothing could be controlled. We look at the disciples when they were on the ocean, and they thought they could fight this storm that come up, the wind that was filling their boat full of water. They tried to fight this storm and handle it themselves, and they had this limitation in their mind. They didn't wake up Jesus until after the boat started to fill up with water. The man, they thought that it was hopeless, that he was living in the tombs, but Jesus freed him of it. This woman here had spent her whole life trying to find a cure for her issue of her blood. She had been bleeding for 12 years, or female issues for 12 years, and she spent her life savings on a way to be healed. And Jesus here does what he does. God does what he does when somebody believes in him, when somebody comes to him in faith. He tells Nicodemus, as we've already looked at before, that all you have to do is believe. But that belief is more than just a decision in your mind. It is a complete surrender of your heart to Jesus, a complete surrender into that belief, knowing that Jesus could heal her. Now I want you to get a picture of this woman here, laying in the dirt. I want you to get a picture here of this woman who had been unclean by the Mosaic law for 12 years. For 12 years, she was not allowed to go around her family. For 12 years, she had to walk on a different side of the street. For 12 years, she could not live a normal life. And the people in the city knew her, knew that she was unclean. And can you imagine? Can you imagine what it was like to be alone for 12 years? You may be listening to me today. You may be in that same shape where you've done everything that you know how to do, and you feel alone. You might even be living this life that people don't know about. You've got people all around you, just as Jesus had here and she had. There was people all around her, but yet she was still alone. That may be the same shape that you find yourself in today. You might find yourself in that shape to where you don't think there's any hope, but you know that you hear about this man named Jesus. You hear about this way, the man named Jesus that is the life, the truth, and the way. And you might get to the point where you're willing to get down in the dirt. Get down in the dirt and to start crawling. You think about this now. This woman is just this. Had an issue of blood. She's considered unclean. She's been alone for all these years. She's tried everything that she could possibly try. She's down in the dirt. Now, this isn't just the normal dirt that you out in her yard. You think about these were people had been walking, and their feet were unclean. There was most likely in that city, in that dirt, feces of animals. There was, you think about spit and the blood that was in the streets and how dirty and nasty it was. It wasn't just your normal dirt road. It was in the city here, and she was in the dirt crawling underneath people's feet. She was being stepped on. But you know what? She didn't care anymore. You know, can you only imagine what people, as she was trying to push through people's feet there, and they were probably, you know, spitting on her. Get out of here, you unclean woman. You don't belong here. Why are you here bothering us? And she's crying. She's not listening to anybody. She's got this desire, this one last chance to get a hold of something that can cure her. So she's crawling. She's getting dirt in her face. She's getting dirt on her clothes. She's getting dirt on her hair. And she's just pushing people's feet out of the way, and she's being stepped on. And she reaches out one last time. One last time she reaches out with all she's got and just grazes the hem of his garment, barely touches it. And immediately she was healed. Immediately that issue of blood was gone. Gone. No longer there. She was healed. She spent her life savings on worldly things and man's limitations, and it didn't do her any good. And she spent that little bit of time reaching after Jesus, and finally got just the tips of her finger. You know, she spent her whole life with doctors touching her and doctors looking at her and giving her this medicine and that medicine, and just the tips of her finger just grazed the hem of his garment, just barely grazed the hem of his garment, and it was all gone. All her issues was gone. Gone. Just as the man possessed with demons, when Jesus said go, and those demons left. Just like the sea, whenever Jesus said be still, and it was still. All Jesus has to do is be woke up from the ship. All Jesus has to do is speak, and things happen. Here Jesus didn't even speak it until after the fact that, you know, and she reached out and touched him from behind, got the hem of his garment, and immediately her issue was healed. And Jesus, and you know, and this is something that was brought to my attention a while back. And if you go over to Matthew, and you read that same account in Matthew chapter 5, I believe it is, or I'm sorry, Matthew. Well, anyways, I thought I had it marked, but anyway, you go over into this other account, and it says Jesus turned around. You know, you think that Jesus is too busy. You think that Jesus doesn't have time for you. But let me tell you, Jesus had time for this woman. When she reached out and touched the hem of his garment, Jesus turned around. Jesus turned around. He said, who touched me? He's with all these people that are around him, touching him. All these people are listening to him and pushing. You've been in a crowd, what it's like. You understand these things. But it says Jesus, it turned him around. He turned around. Faith got his attention. You want to get Jesus' attention, you go to him believing that he'll hear you, believing and asking him to forgive you of your sins. Quit playing games and get sincere with God. Get sincere with Jesus, and he'll hear your prayer. This woman was sincere. This woman didn't care what people thought about her. This woman was willing to crawl in the dirt and get dirty to find Jesus. And she just brushed the hem of his garment, and her issues were healed. And Jesus, you know, the disciples were like, what are you talking about, Jesus? There's people all around you. How can you say, who touched me? And Jesus said, somebody touched me, because I perceive that virtue has gone out of me. And this is what you need to do. You need to be as the man that was healed by the demons. He went and he told everybody. He went and told the people in the city. This woman, seeing that she could not hide herself and she was trembling, she fell down before him, and she declared to all the people. She declared unto him and all the people that were around that she had touched him and what had happened to her and how she was healed. All these people know who she was. She'd been fighting this issue for 12 years. And another example of Jesus doing something that the world couldn't do. Handling a situation that the world had no cure for. And she was telling the world. So this is another example of people seeing that this man, this Jesus, was doing things that were above man's ability. He was setting up this new law. He was setting up his church. He was setting up something new that they had not seen, that they had been taught about their whole life, but they didn't even recognize was right in front of them. And he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith has made thee whole. Go in peace. You know how many times I've done these devotions, and the word peace is in every one of them, I believe, because it's just, you can't talk about Jesus and his ability to take care of situations without applying peace to it. Go in peace. Because there's no words for the what it's like to be made right with God. She wasn't only made right in her physical ailments here, she was made right with God. Because of her faith, she received that peace from God. A peace that the world does not understand, because the world tried to heal her with all these limitations that didn't do her any good. But Jesus took care of the scene. Jesus took care of that situation just like that, just with a brush of her fingers on the hem of his garment. She had that much faith, and you must today realize that he's your only hope. You must realize that you must be willing to get down and get dirty and start crawling and start humbling yourself down and not worry about who's around, not worry about all the things that didn't work, and look at the thing that is going to work. All these things in the world that hasn't worked is because it's man's limitation. We are limited to the things that we can do, but there's no limit with God. There's no limit with Jesus. He can take care of whatever it is that you have going on right now. He can take care of all the riots. He can take care of all the racism, but it's going to have to be us that are willing to have faith, to seek after Jesus, and to let him show us what we need to do. And when he gives us that answer, he gives us that peace, we can't be ashamed of it. We've got to tell the world about what has happened to us and be that different person. Again, whenever this has happened, after this happened, the man that had the daughter, somebody come up and said, look, there's no point in telling the master that your daughter's dead. Your daughter's dead. There's no point in bothering him. She's dead. Another point here where people just, it's hopeless. There's no hope. She's dead. Let's just, you can't, there's nothing you can do. Wrong. There is something that we can do. There is something, and we can point them to Jesus. We can give Jesus one more chance. Give Jesus one more chance to make a difference in your life. And Jesus told him, said, he heard what was going on. Fear not. Believe only. There it is again. Believe only. It doesn't say anything else. Believe only. But the belief he's talking about is not a carnal, it's not a mental belief. It is a complete trust, a complete belief, knowing that he is going to take care of it. That woman knew that Jesus could take care of her issue. That man with the demons knew that Jesus could take care of him. And he went into the house and suffered no man to go in except Peter and James and John and the father and the mother, and all wept, bewailing her. Oh, it's over. It's hopeless. She's dead. There's no point in trying anymore. But he said, weep not, for she is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed and scorned him, knowing that she was dead. And he put them out and took her by the hand and called and said, Maid, arise. And her spirit came, and she arose straightway. And he commanded and give her meat. And her parents were astonished, but he charged them not to tell no man what had done. Just as this, he spoke to the demons and they left. This woman touched the hem of his garment. He spoke to this, the little daughter here, said, Maid, arise. You know, when Jesus comes on the scene, he doesn't have to say a whole lot, but he'll change your whole life. He doesn't have to say a lot. But when Jesus shows up and Jesus shows out and Jesus lets us see that his presence is real, all you got to do is believe. Believe and let him do what he does. You look at all the things that Jesus did. He's a life changer. He changed this woman, or the man with the issue of blood, or the man that was possessed with demons. He changed the woman with the issue of blood. He changed the daughter that had died. All he's got to do is speak. All he's got to do is be there. You got to believe that he can be there. You got to believe that he is, that he can, and he will. Can you imagine what it was like for all these examples that we talk about? And there's more that we're going to talk about as that we go into the example of the feeding of the 5,000. And the reason that this was brought to me is, look at look what's happening here. Jesus is sitting. He's telling, he told the man that was possessed with demons to go and tell the city. The woman that was the issue of blood, he told him to, or she proclaimed to everybody that was around. The only time whenever that Jesus raised this daughter from the dead, they told her not to go tell anybody. And we might come back and point this out, but whenever Jesus raised Lazarus, things changed, things happened, and it wasn't his time to let people know that he could raise somebody from the dead. So we'll see, we might come back to that a little bit later, but today, as we look at this, we go into the next part of this journey this week with Jesus, is we're going to see where Jesus sends out his 12. He sends out the 12 disciples to go proclaim him and who he is. He started with the woman at the well, telling her who he was. Now he's healed this man named Legion, possessed with many demons. He's calmed the sea. He's healed the woman with the issue of blood for 12 years. And then he's going to send out his 12 to go and proclaim the word, to trust in him, to tell the world about him. As we see these things and we go into it a little further tomorrow, we're going to see how those 5,000 came to Jesus. If we want people to come hear Jesus, we're going to have to be proclaiming Jesus. We're going to have to be telling the world about Jesus. We're going to have to be sharing these videos as much as we can so that they can hear about the life of Jesus. You're going to have to tell your family about what Jesus has done for you. You're going to have to tell your co-workers what Jesus has done for you. You're going to have to tell the world what Jesus has done for you. It is nerve-wracking. It is scary. But you know what? When Jesus comes on the scene, he says, peace. Be of good cheer. Be of good cheer. Don't let these things hinder you. Don't look at the limitations of the world, but look at the possibilities of God. Today we need to stop looking at the carnal view of our eyes and our mind, and believe that he can. Believe that Jesus can, and he will if we'll just let him. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate your prayers. I pray that these videos and this lesson today has helped you. I know it's helped me, being out here in God's creation, talking about Jesus, the one that can change your life and change people's life, not just for the short time, but for eternity. May God richly bless you is our prayer, and I hope you have a great day. Love you.